Hey, welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. You know the deal. Just interpret the message as it best resonates. Also, know if you're new to my channel, I like to look at everything, which means I also look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes within your experience. So these readings can help you heal. They can help you heal the effects of psychological trauma and emotional trauma that occur a lot of times from our relationships. And unfortunately, when we have this energy, again, because you're made up of your thoughts and your emotions, and how you manifest is again through your thoughts and your emotions. So when you hold on to energy that was created from trauma, it keeps us in a place of fear. A lot of times we're not even aware of, what we do that that contributes to the undesirable life experience that is showing us why we have certain karma. So hopefully you will understand how to heal and how to balance out your situation, regardless of whether you're dealing with someone that's really imbalanced. That's the key. It's not about what other people do. It's about how we react to what other people do. That is how we create our karma. So by being able to understand, like I said, how you are unconsciously creating or contributing, I should say, and yes, and creating because your thoughts. So this understanding your certain traumas, how they play out within your behaviorisms and how they play out within your person's behaviorisms allows you to again create new changes that are going to be more in alignment by understanding how, again, you're getting in your own way. So if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you have to be open to obviously getting a shadow reading. You have to like the video. You got to subscribe to the channel, and you got to write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out. And it is the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. All right. Now, any important information, by the way, like the word of the video, will always be in the description box, along with, like I said, all other important information, such as my website, um, my other YouTube channels. So if you're connected to a Virgo or any other zodiac, you want to check out my other channels. All right, let's see. Before I got on, by the way, I all of a sudden got this anxiety, and I've been getting bursts of anxiety on and off all day long. And so I feel like you are connected to somebody that is having anxiety on and off all day long. So if you all of a sudden are feeling like, I don't know why I just feel like I have anxiety all day long, on and off all day long, it's because it's not your anxiety. I feel like you're tapped into somebody that is going through it, and you have a soul's connection with this person. So, in the fact that you're not maybe feeling this person like you normally do, you're trying to search for this person in the ether, but you're not feeling them. And I also feel like when this person taps into you, they don't feel you because, again, of the anxiety that they have. So even if you weren't talking to this person, I feel like you have a very strong spiritual connection to this person, and they as well to you, even regardless of whether they showed it to you or not. This is something that's more felt. Again, when we have strong spiritual connections with a person, it's because there's a lot of spiritual blocks both on both parties, not just one party, because like goes to like. You're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So psychological blocks are created from trauma, the inner child wounds, where again, at a very young age, you were kind of taught to live out of balance, and you because your parents, the people that raised you, lived out of balance. They could have been in a bad relationship, they could have drank, they could have never been home. Whatever the imbalance was, again, mind doesn't differentiate. One imbalance isn't worse than another. The mind doesn't know the difference. So you and this person grew up in this environment where you didn't feel safe as children. Because again, our parents show us, and it show us through how emotionally they're there for us. And I feel like they had problems. So again, the message was always, I love you, but with conditions. Or I love you as long as you're good, because I already have too many problems to deal with more problems. And if there was problems, you created problems, well, then the consequences were ridiculously out of balance because of all the trauma. So I feel like your person has a very hard time communicating, and I feel like you have a hard time showing your feelings. And so, again, the same energies, you and this person. So there's a strong spiritual connection. That's when the divine has to get involved. And the divine gets involved because, again, the wounds are deep. Again, if you were born into family karma, where you were conditioned in an environment to not like yourself, to feel you were inadequate, to have shame, then again, most of your life you were walking out of balance. And that would mean like relationships weren't easy. If you got money, you always lost money. That again, there's a real feeling of I'm not deserving, I'm not loved, I'm not good enough, deep seated. And again, God gets involved because again, we're down here in physical form to learn. So how would we learn about unconditional love? How would we learn to see ourselves as any different unless we're put into the experiences and connected to certain people? So I'm feeling like, again, you're connected to this person all the time. And you can incarnated with this person many, many lifetimes. And it's to teach. So again, those lifetimes weren't easy lifetimes, obviously. Again, karma, learning, but unconditional love, agreeing to come back in every single lifetime to help teach. So let's see what the underlining word of the video is going to be. I don't know why I just channeled that and why you needed to know that, but we'll see. Oh, look at that. Two came out. Blame and jealousy. So I feel like when you have a soul's connection, there's a very fine line between love and hate. And I feel as if, you know, just you being you makes this person jealous because they feel inadequate and they're very jealous again that you're going to find somebody else, that your life is better. Again, compare it now. When soul's mate comes into the life, it's so that God can help, teach this person or you again, whatever, to help evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love. We wouldn't volunteer to do this because healing doesn't feel good. So again, I feel like the wound is that there's a feeling of lack, and there's a feeling of lack because this person, whenever there was a problem, this person was felt the need that they had to fix it. They had to fix it. And I feel like that's your energy too. It's like you were both brought up in an environment, like if there was a problem, it's like it was seemed to always feel like it was my fault. And so again, whether or not you're dealing with a person that did a lot of wrong things to you or just didn't emotionally open up to you, they know that they didn't do right by you. And there's also a sense of they know you're a good catch and that eventually you're going to meet somebody else and they're going to be required to change. So they've been put in a position where they either have to rise up and apologize and talk to you, or the feeling of more jealousy is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse because again there is a very strong spiritual connection, so there's a very deep emotional connection as well as an attraction. So again, this person like is supposed to rise up to evolve to get that wisdom. That wisdom is the higher self, right? The higher self is the God part of self that is all about unconditional love. So when we're able to integrate or spiritual wounds. Now, unfortunately, I feel like this person didn't treat you right. So there's a sense of that they're trying to actually like avoid you. They avoided you for such a long time that I think that they expected you to chase after them. They expected you to reach out. There's this, no, again, your energy is so soft and sweet to this person, like, and always forgiving. And that I think that this person just thought that eventually you would, just kind of forget about it, and or that you would forgive them, or and because you didn't, they're getting more and more and more jealous. Now, again, the whole point of this relationship is for them to evolve. We see that. But this person is very insecure and they know that they're supposed to come back. Again, their higher self. Because everybody, no matter how wounded they are, has intuition, and they know what they should do. They know what feels right. I feel like, again, this person is being faced to have to like heal. And so, and they're not, they don't want to. They don't, because again, it would require them to be humble. It would require them to be more emotionally intelligent for them, not just for how they're treating you, but how they're actually treating themselves. Because that's what these higher consciousnesses within the relationship are supposed to do. This is why God brings certain people into our life to help us heal, to help us evolve, to help us integrate the higher consciousness, is what I'm trying to say. But they are procrastinating. But the problem is that I feel like they think about you all of the time. There's a sense that, again, this person, because they're not acting on how they really want to act, they become very obsessive compulsive, where when they're not being fulfilled and when they're not following their truth, I feel like there's a lot of addiction. So, and that brings us back to, again, criticism and judgment, which is, again, the underlining energy is that this person's avoiding you because they are afraid that you're going to, again, blame them, call them out on everything that they already know, criticize them, where this person already, again, feels inadequate and doesn't feel good about themselves. Like, I feel like you see someone that's very, very, very confident, and they are not confident at all. Not at all. Like, they might have a good job. They might, again, wear nice clothes. They might have friends in important places. I don't care. This person is not confident because they haven't healed the real core issue, which is, again, feeling inadequate, feeling, again, like they're always the one to be at blame. So they avoid, they have avoidance style. But where it comes from is that. So we want to look and see how they, again, what triggers they awakened within you, what happens. Again, so again, even though this person, um, when you were with them, it's all about control. It's all about, this person does not want to be vulnerable. They don't feel safe. And again, it roots back to, I always feel like I have to fix everything. I always lose myself in relationships. Relationships never work out, and they don't work out because if you're not yourself, you continually abandon yourself and lose yourself in trying to fix everybody else. There is nothing. You're teaching people to not respect you. So there's a sense of this person, became someone that wants to dominate. Like you're not allowed to have an opinion. You're not like everything's a trigger for this person, is what I feel. Like no matter what you say, no matter what you do, because again, the underlying energy is not just blame, but jealousy, where it's first of all, I love you and you're not giving me your attention. But mainly you're avoiding me. This person thinks that you're avoiding them, like you don't really care, and it's because you're blaming them for, again, how they treated you, and they treated you like you weren't allowed to have an opinion, like you weren't allowed to have a choice over in order to for this person to feel comfortable, you had to be with them in their rules. And if you weren't, then like I said, I just feel like this person would blame you, everything, and it's because they don't feel safe in relationships. Anytime someone is going to get close to them, they're going to be triggered, and if they're going to make your life really like upside down. So I feel like upside down meaning I want you today. I don't want you to tomorrow. I'm going to make you feel this way one day. I'm going to make you feel another way another day. And the messages are always going to be something different. And not just am I going to give you those messages, but emotionally, I won't be there sometimes. And physically, you're going to feel that I'm checked out sometimes. So again, that when you're connected to somebody that is a soulmate, that there is a spiritual connection, and there again, that's unconditional love, and then all of a sudden the person turns off like a light switch. They go from one extreme to another extreme. You can understand why you would become more emotional, why you would feel like, again, not grounded, like you would feel not safe, which, by the way, brings you back to your childhood, to how you felt, because you grew up the same way that this person grew up. So, again, they are unconsciously bringing you back to a place that you didn't like. But the irony is that there's a really strong spiritual connection of passion. Not just passion, but like understanding and knowing. But then this person does this, so we see the spiritual problem. And the spiritual problem is it's like relationships don't make me feel safe. I have intimacy problems. Intimacy is trust. And that's the problem. So it doesn't mean that the relationship doesn't start off all hot and passionate wise. It does, because there's a lot of spiritual energy. But then this person, again, checks out there's a runner and a chaser. And that chaser might not look like they're chasing, but they're still holding on energetically. So not until you cut that energetic cord, and that's through your mind being somewhere else, you can't, this person will continue to dominate because there's such a spiritual connection. And you have the power to do that to this person as well. Because again, the communication is difficult. However, the spiritual connection is very strong. So the person can feel when you're angry. The person can feel when you're not really mad. They can feel. They can feel that the unconditional love is still there. However, they can feel that you're really hurt. So I feel like this person is very strategic, and now they're trying to figure out how to come back. But to understand what I said was that over time, when there's problems emotionally, because the person isn't like allowing you to really bond with them, because every time you get close, they don't feel safe, or they want to dominate the relationship because, again, they're so afraid you're going to leave them. That's why people control. They control because of fear of abandonment, where the problem is this person always feels like people blame them. They're still walking around with that that trauma, and it doesn't mean that you're not. What it means is that you go into the relationship and you can be in the relationship, but then if someone's going to act like that, that's going to awaken your wounds. You don't go into the situation like that. And so what happens is that emotionally, when you don't feel safe, you check out. And so then it's like a dry spell, like on emotionally, you're not connecting. So obviously you're not going to be intimate. And this person relies a lot on the intimacy. They associate love with that, with passion. They not just passion, but it's almost like they need that. It's where you may feel like, well, I don't really need that. Well, they need that. And so remember, your the people that come into your life to help teach you don't think the way that you do. Their gifts are not the same as yours. They've come into your life to teach you through a different perception, which is their perception. You may not like their perception because you're like, I don't know what the fuck you're actually thinking about. But the person, it doesn't, but you're learning it regardless because you're connected to them. It doesn't make sense, but the underlying energy is unconditional love, regardless of what it looks like. So we have to look and see again now what actually went down. Again, inconsistent in and out of your life. And that's what I meant. Like, again, every time you would get close, every time you would feel like you were making headway, it's like then you felt like, now we're not. Things are good, but now they're not. Like this person was deliberately getting in the way of making the relationship even go anywhere. And so again, they're getting in their own way, but then wanted again to have that intimacy. And that's where you were like, no, I'm not going to do that. Because it's like you felt like, I don't know who's showing up today. Is it going to be like Mr. Happy or Mrs. Happy, or is it going to be crazy? Is it going to be like moody? Like who's coming today? I mean, and that makes a person not want to open up. And again, like where it would get so bad that like sometimes you would be like, I don't care anymore. And this person acts because they don't care. They act like they don't care. But the truth of the matter is that they do care, is that they disassociate the same way that you can disassociate from your trauma, which is when you were a kid and you saw that trauma, it's what happens is it's emotionally the child's self can't deal with it. So they actually check out. It's like, yeah, they know what happened, but don't have a feeling one way or the other about it. They haven't really assimilated it. That they just get the end result, and the end result is this happened because I was bad, or this happened because we didn't have enough. So knowing that there wasn't enough and inheriting parents' wounds will also do that, where again, the trauma, it keeps us detached from our physical body because it doesn't feel good. It's a survival mechanism. However, those energies are still held within us and makes us a magnet for who comes into our life. Hence why this person's come into your life, for you to awaken certain things, but it doesn't mean that you don't care. It feels like you don't care because you're numb. And that's how this person feels too, because it's again, I'm trying to figure everything out. I'm trying to figure everything out. I'm overstimulated. I can't figure anything out because the next step after I don't care, apathy, which is more or less like a depression of I don't fucking care anymore. The next step after that is usually, anger. A lot of times it's like because you're like tired. Like it's like I don't care, but you do care. It's a depression. And it's a depression because I'm connected to you, but you're not doing what you need to do. And this person is like, I'm connected to you and I'm not doing what I need to do. But again, so this is what the issue is. So we can see. So it's not a case of not caring. It's a case of feeling like, again, stuck in frozen, right? When we're stuck in fight, flight, or freeze after a while, when we've disassociated, with there's a sense of numbness of so it feels like we don't care. But we're actually looking for a way to withdraw, to detach, because it's like we know that that person isn't good for us, but we feel such a deep connection, and they do to us too. So we're like, why the hell are you doing this? It's like I'm searching for an answer, and this person is too, like, again, and that's what these relationships are about. Help us search for the bigger meaning to why we're here, first of all, because you wouldn't be able to heal yourself from just the everyday life situations. We'd have to say, well, what's the bigger reason? And Spirit says, well, you're down there in physical form to learn and to manifest. And what am I supposed to be learning from this shit? And Spirit says, well, everywhere where this person triggers you, everywhere where you get angry, everywhere where you feel pain, that is again where you're not healed. That's where you hold shadows. Those are blocks. This person has come into your life to help you address those blocks. You wouldn't volunteer unless there was that passion, unless there was that connection. And this person would never surrender their ego either, because of their trauma, fear. But understand the process isn't an easy one. It's one that usually we have to learn how to surrender. And that's what we see. This person, when they were with you, they were like, I'm not going to surrender. I'm not. And you were like, well, you're always searching for something. But really, what they were searching for is, why does this person make me feel this way? Why does this, like, if I've never, first of all, I don't normally give a shit. It's like, that's number one. Number two, it's like I have all these different feelings, and these feelings that have awoken places of me that I didn't even think I had these feelings before. Now it's like I have these feelings. I don't know what to do with these fucking feelings. It's like I gotta decode what these feelings are. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. So it's awakening certain parts of this person that have been wounded, which I believe is the emotional self, which is, again, this person tends to just be more logical, analytical, which is just the facts. And it's logic, like I'm gonna be with someone that's gonna be like a business transaction, because logically I have a need, again, and you have a want, and so maybe I'll take you out to dinner and buy you a new dress and then never see you again, whatever it is. But with you, it wasn't like that. It's like I have a connection, and I don't know what to do with this. I'm in search of understanding and meaning, because I'm feeling like I'm going crazy. Or maybe you put a spell on me. Maybe, maybe I see on your social media, you talk a lot about that universe. You talk a lot about that witchcraft. So maybe you put a spell on me. Maybe you did something. And again, looking for an answer logically, I have to figure out, because this doesn't logically make sense. And for you, you're searching like, this can't be my Prince Charming. God, you got to be kidding me. You can't, this person is that. I'm looking for somebody else, because this, whatever this is, this isn't what I want. So I'm in search for somebody else. And this person can feel that you're in search for somebody else, which is why I feel like they have anxiety. Because again, they're like, oh, you're moving away from me. It's like you're detaching from me. And it's like now how, like, I wasn't expecting that. First of all, I have all these feelings. And now that you're gonna do that, because Spirit's like, well, it's time to turn up the heat. It's time to turn up the heat, because this this little chickadee needs to get a little fire underneath his ass, or her ass, to get it in gear. Because again, you're not moving. So the universe has to, get involved. So things are happening for you. They feel that you're disconnecting their perception, and but maybe nothing's happening for you, but in their imagination, again, they're gonna think the worst, because trauma does that. So And they are looking back and they know that they didn't really give you much choice. Everything that you would try and have a conversation with them, everything's a trigger. But the person wants to dominate. So that means control. So asking a lot of questions and wanting things your way, well, like then that's a little bit of a problem. And if you're going to call me out on it, again, I'm going to be defensive, and that's overreact. And that's a second chakra imbalance. That's because, like, what are you hiding? Like, what are you hiding? Like, what are you, a big secret like that? And understand it's because the person's like, I don't know. First of all, I don't trust you. I don't trust me. I don't trust anybody because I grew up in an environment where I, again, was taught not to trust. That's number one. Number two, again, I feel like you can read my mind. So again, I don't trust that. Number three, I don't understand all this, whatever this energy is, whatever this connection is. It's like, because again, it's not the way that I've been conducting my life. Like I've been conducting my life, like, again, everything's a business, everything makes sense, everything's uh compartmentalized, everything, there's logic, everything is, and this is none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense, and it's stirring up a lot of my emotions. That's actually, again, brings me back to my wounds. Something that, again, I've been asleep to, but obviously the shit's been playing out within this person's life. So, where again, doesn't mean that we can't rebuild ourselves and reinvent ourselves. But if you never learn the spiritual lesson, then there's always the sense that it will happen again. I believe that that's why people get cancer again. It's like if you know what the experience is and you went through it and you know what that feeling is, that's how you manifest. So that energy needs to be channeled into something else. It needs to be integrated, which is what the soulmate twin flame relationship is. All relationships really are gonna help transmute the energy, whether it's pleasantly or unpleasantly, even if it's a minor relationship. However, sometimes when it's a real spiritual connection with this in that ether that you're like energetically, I feel like that person's on me, even if you like, I haven't talked to them in a year, but I know that they're right there because there's no time. And that person, again, energetically, it's again tends to play games a lot of times. The runner and the chaser isn't that easy. It's based on a lot of emotional manipulation. I'm going to try and scare you into believing that I don't really care about you. And this is why, again, this person had a wall up. And that's when, after a while, when you're not getting anything, you detach. And that's kind of what happened here. And so, and this mainly had nothing to do with you. It had to do with, again, this person feeling inadequate and always believing, again, I wind up alone. Like I'd rather be a rebel again and act like I don't need anyone. This way I won't really get hurt, especially with this energy that I've never even experienced before. But they're not realizing is that you don't have control over unconditional love. All those other relationships that this person had, it's not that they didn't have feelings for those people, but it was mainly passion driven. When one little incident arose, the person was like, well, fuck you. I don't really need to be with you. I'll dispose of you. And they did. And they would go out and maybe have a few cocktails and go out and date a few people and then just easily get over it. Well, this person's done all that and it's not working. It's like the energy is still there. If anything, it's getting worse. And they're like, what the fuck is this? It's like, how is it getting worse? It should be getting easier and it's getting worse. So the person is feeling like they're crazy. So now the energy is, I feel inadequate down deep inside. This is why I don't do anything, but I'm feeling crazy because normally I have full control over my life, and they do. They're very, again, kind of like a little bit militant. Well, everything is very structured, which the irony is your life, I don't believe is structured. You're like, well, It's structured somewhat. It's not that it's not structured. It's just if something comes up, you're flexible, where this person's not flexible. And it shows up within their relationships and it plays out within their experiences, which is how they sabotage themselves, especially in relationships. And in this relationship, they're like definitely getting in their own way because of like how they feel about themselves. But the bottom line is it's funny because it's like they do everything to like try and make themselves feel better. And it's like they keep feeling worse. And it's like God's way of turning up the heat. Like, you're gonna change, motherfucker. Like, you're gonna change, you're gonna surrender that ego. You're gonna surrender that ego and you're gonna wait and it's gonna get worse and worse and worse. Where this person's like, I can't, but like just can't believe it. And so they're like sad, like you said, because it's like, I don't know how I got into this situation. And really, again, the relationship's forcing this person to like look at their ridiculous behavior of holding back, of one-uppia, of again wanting to dominate, wanting to control, wanting you to again feed them, accolades and make them feel good about themselves and being inconsistent, acting like they didn't care, when meanwhile it's like, and then knowing that you're tapped into them the whole time, and then like what that does on an energetic level when someone acts like, again, you can feel that they care about you, but then they're again acting like they don't give a shit. So again, this person is sad because they know they're the ones that did it. And again, it's like God said, not today. You don't get to like play this game today. First of all, you shouldn't be like using people because that's how spirit was looking at this person's relationships. You're using them like people are not like, you know, that like it's a transactional thing. It's not supposed to be like that. You're down there to have emotional connections. You're supposed to have meaning in your life. The connections are, so that's first of all. Second of all, it's like, yeah, you don't care. And so there's a sense of no, like you can't, like we've come to the end of the line with that, because it's like now you met someone of a higher vibration, that there is a spiritual connection. So your way, instead of like wanting to have a normal relationship that was built on trust, their way was to dominate the connection. Like, I'm going to have the connection, but it's going to be my way. And I'm going to act like I don't really care. I don't really need to be in a relationship. You see how cool I am? It's like, that's the energy there. And I hate to be like that, but it's like, again, second chakra imbalance. You're going to overcompensate. You're going to overcompensate for the fact that you feel a lot. And that's what this person continually did. And where it's like, who wants to be with a person that's like, I don't really want to be with you. You see, I don't really need to be with you. You see how strong I am. I don't need to be with you. Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna act like you don't have any feelings, like your feelings don't matter. You see how tough I am. You see how manly I am, or you see how, what a strong woman I am. I don't let my emotions dictate where. That's the second chakra imbalance. That's someone taught this person that they weren't allowed to be vulnerable, that they didn't feel safe. So again, they're overcompensating, and especially around you because you're awakening these emotions. They're like that to begin with. They will act that way as a shield. But with you even more, because it's like, again, I don't really like who I am, and you're getting like this close to me energetically, and it's like, though I know, like, again, I know that you're supposed to be in my life. I've hurt you, and I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me someday and understand I was reacting in fear. So this person, again, like I said, is sad because they know that they did it. They were like, that's that, and you might be like, yeah, I don't believe it. They're not acting like it. Well, again, this person is never going to show vulnerability. That's the issue. And the irony is that spirit is saying, oh, you're going to be vulnerable. You're going to learn how to be vulnerable. You don't want to be vulnerable because of what happened in your past, but you're going to be vulnerable and you're going to be everything that you're afraid that you have to be. Because again, it's affecting you and you're not changing and you're not willingly changing. So again, this person's sitting there and they're like replaying, I feel like everything. Like where sometimes you'd feel like they weren't listening to you, but they were listening. It's just, again, I'm not going to act like I care. These feelings overwhelm me and I become afraid. Sometimes I even run away because of it. And this is what I'm saying, because they're not used to feeling these feelings. And it's awakening their wounds, because really, Spirit says the bigger reason why you're down there is to be an expression of unconditional love. And that's by doing what you love and by connecting to people and loving them unconditionally. That's without, expectations, without ownership. And this person, again, because they don't feel safe, they're like, well, I'm going to dominate. And Spirit says, bang, wrong answer. Wrong answer. That is not me. But they're like, but I do love unconditionally. And God says, you're not doing it right. That's why it looks the way that it does, And now this person is like trying to do it, trying to hold back, couldn't control it. Now and you can see their energy is softening. Their ego is starting to surrender a little bit, where they're saying, why did I do this? Oh, because I became afraid. And understand that's triggering you. It has to be. You are in your old patterns, but can't see it. Again, what I'm saying with this person. They're patterns, but I believe that they're slowly awakening to it, or if they didn't, they were about to. And patterns are, again, just the way the person learned how to survive through that trauma. They brought those behaviorisms into this current incarnation, and that again in past life could be just their childhood. And that's, they were taught, don't look vulnerable, don't show weakness, don't, love is not important, don't act, be this way, be this way. So a pattern is just a habit that we've done. And it's when you are raised in an environment that teaches you that you can't feel safe if you're vulnerable, that you have to be a certain, that you have to wear a mask. Well, that mask doesn't come off that easily. The person needs to become aware of it. And this is why, again, Spirit brought you into this person's life. Unconditional love. Now, that doesn't mean you're supposed to be with this person. I'm conflicted about whether I have what it takes to be your partner. And this is what I'm saying. It's making this person, again, feel like they're not confident. That's what I said. But they weren't aware of it. And you would never think that they were, again, because they're actually overcompensate in their cockiness, where they don't let you get close enough. This is how you know, again, I feel insecure and it's pushing me to grow. And that's what I'm saying. That's what this relationship is all about. Now, you may say, well, that's fucking wonderful for this person. Now, what is it doing for me? And is there a chance that we can actually be together? So let's see why you connected to this person. Again, I told you that the readings are longer because I look at everything. So let's look again and see. Unworthy. These are your childhood wounds, and that's what I said, that you guys grew up in the same type of environment. So you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. And obviously, if this person's in and out and inconsistent, they're again treating you like you're not good enough. So that's number one, right off the bat. Joy. I feel like that could be a gift, but I feel like it's also a wound, meaning I don't feel like you had joy growing up, a lot of joy, because I feel like misery loves company. And so if you had a parent that had problems, they couldn't be happy for you. And if they can't be happy for you because of their own unhealed, trauma is what I'm feeling. So, but I do feel like your natural way of being is to be very joyful because I feel like you're a sensitive person and highly sensitive people are empaths and they are like normally very innocent, very happy, tend to be very, again, empathic, hello, which is why they hold the higher vibration and not your normal natural energy that God incarnated you with is to be joyous. I just feel like you grew up around somebody that treated you like you were unworthy of certain things. So didn't what there was not real support. So if you wanted to do something, a lot of times it was like it wasn't I don't want to say that it wasn't encouraged because it wasn't like encouraged is not just, hey, go out and do it. It's once you do it, it's that I'm paying attention to it, that I'm taking an interest in what you're doing. I'm giving you that support. I don't believe that you had that, and that again robbed your joy being connected to someone like this again because of their problems, their issues. Now, it doesn't mean that you didn't have yours. That's the whole thing is that you also have these wounds. This person, again, isn't paying attention to the fact of what they're doing, even though that they do have feelings. And that's the thing with trauma. Trauma keeps us in a place of survival where all we care about is ourselves. And it's not because we mean to. It's because there's a lack of groundedness. If we're always up in our head looking and preparing and strategizing, well, we're not in our heart. We're not able to give. And this is what unhealed trauma looks like, really. And confusion that again, like love, I don't know. I'm confused what love looks like. I don't know what I don't know whether I can trust. I don't know why life is this way. I don't know why it's so confusing, but it makes me not feel safe. It doesn't make me feel good, which again, here it is. You attract someone to you that makes you feel that way because again, of their insecurity. But the truth of the matter is that spirit's asking this person to rise. They're asking this person to um to evolve, to heal. And so it's an uncomfortable process, is what we're seeing. We're seeing them do it, but they don't, again, it's because they have no choice. It's getting worse, it's getting worse. It's like it's what I feel like. I don't mean to laugh, but it's almost like you put a spell on me. It's getting worse, it's getting worse. And the truth of the matter is that it's your thoughts and your emotions that manifest. So they're actually manifesting you back into their life. And it's like when meanwhile, it's like they don't realize that they're the ones that are doing it. And a part of it is because they want it. They want it. It's just, I want it, but I don't know how to make it work. And it's because you're getting in your own way. You're making a problem out of nothing, which you probably have spiritual blocks in other areas. Maybe it's like business where, or running your home or something where spirits, it's really not that difficult. You're making it like you have a really bad block there. And you're like, oh, and what does a really bad block look like? And spirit says, let me show you through this person again, because they have blocks in other areas of their life that you're going to be like, this is ridiculous. This is easy. Again, what you don't know how to act, you don't know how to give love, you don't know how to, be compassionate, you don't know how to, you don't have feelings. And spirit says they have feelings, they just don't know how to work them. And they're not emotionally intelligent. Well, that's what I grew up with. I have to deal with that. And spirit says, well, it's because it's unconditional love you're learning. but through again that process of healing. You wouldn't volunteer to go back into a situation that made you feel that way. This is why there's a spiritual connection. You don't kind of like don't have control. This person doesn't have control. So, like I said, they're manifesting you back. Now, how they manifest you back, that doesn't mean that they're not gonna emotionally, if they're not in a good place, take it out on you. Again, or if they've put in the time and really self-reflected, they're gonna handle it differently, which will allow them to get to see a different result. And that's what healing's all about. That we heal ourselves by getting a different consciousness and doing something differently. And what we see here is a divine connection that spirit says, well, again, the wounds were deep, childhood wounds, conditioned a certain way, patterns, again, stuck in the patterns. We don't see those patterns. All we know is we see the end result that I'm not happy. And so spirit says, again, I have to bring this situation together. And so it awakens not just those wounds within this person, but wounds within yourself. Again, of why then was this person able to make you feel unworthy about yourself? Who is the right of taking away joy? And love is not confusing. It's again, you're making it confusing by giving your time to, again, people that are wounded, expecting wounded people to change, giving them so much. If you notice, now that you cut this your energy off, now this person has anxiety. Oh, I feel you moving away. You didn't give nothing. What did you expect? I was expecting it was gonna be there. Spiritual connection. You gotta feed it. It doesn't matter. We're here in the physical form. You gotta change. Again, and stop with the again secrets, because I see it as deception. Again, always hiding. Oh, like what are you waiting for someone better to come along? It's again, we want to sabotage the connection. You want to hide things from me that are unnecessary to hide. I mean, that's why you don't feel that you're good enough for me. I was pretending to be someone else. Yeah, no shit. And that's the problem. It's again, you became like somebody else, and the focus was on having to be somebody else in order to, for you to like them. When meanwhile, it's like that's what made you not like them. I'm looking to see whether this person is going to do anything. There is a third party. So I believe, again, for this person has also people that they talk to, that linger. I don't know whether emotionally they're connected to that person, though I feel like whoever, they have people that are connected to them because they don't give emotionally. So I feel like that third party has been in this person's life for a long time, but emotionally doesn't get anything. But it's a codependent type connection for some, and then for others, I feel like there's just people that come in and out of this person's life that interfere. And it's interfere because, again, your person allows them to interfere in order to not get close, in order to, again, live that persona of, I don't care, I'm a rebel without a cause, I don't really need a relationship, I don't really need, you know, that, but I believe that this connection started off as if this person acted like they wanted it. I'm not ready. So it's where this person, like, even though they have the energy and the potential to be a soulmate twin flame, what we see here is that they're still a past life karmic mate because they're not willing to do the work. It's like they want to keep third parties around. I believe that there is no special person. It's either a codependent situation, which is a relationship that already happened and transpired, and this person just lingers and they do stuff in hopes that this person is eventually going to do something for them, which they're not, because the way that you train a person is, and I believe that they've already been together, so the way that you train a person is always the way that the person is going to continue to, and this person doesn't emotionally connect. They emotionally connected to you. And so, like I said, I just feel like they didn't really like what I see here is it's almost like this relationship has made them like brought them into themselves. That's made them have to like again do their healing, because again they're gonna have to like they're confronted with either change and get rid of all the third parties and your partying ways, or you're gonna lose me. And what they're saying is I'm not ready, and I feel like you're moving forward. And I'm not ready because there's other people that I'd have to let go of, codependency. I just want to see really like this person is really like that's yeah, uncertain. And that's again because this person would need to change their life. And part of them feels comfortable and feels safe, is what I'm intuitively getting. It's like they're not ready because, again, they would have to overhaul their entire life and they'd have to get rid of certain people in their life. And those people, again, it's not about love, it's about feeding this person like their ego, making them feel secure. It's a false sense of security, of believing that they have a lot of options, believing that they can figure it out, that they actually have time, and knowing that the twin flame soulmate relationship requires that person to really step into their best version of themselves. And this person doesn't believe that they have it. So I believe that they don't step up into that energy and they don't really do anything. Not enough. Not enough. And I don't know why I'm surprised. Guess I always like a happy ending, but the truth of the matter is, it's a realistic. It's like it's uncertain at this time because, again, you're still going to evolve, and you're still, if you're interactive in life, well, you're not going to want this person back. So it's not just about this person, because the karma is, it's like the whole time you had this beautiful connection and you didn't honor this connection because of your inadequacy. Because of that, you sabotage the connection because of how you feel about you. But the spiritual lesson for you was this person made you feel that way. And nothing should be able to make you feel that way. Because again, the goodness that you have within you. So if you don't feel like you're that worth it because of, again, the way that a person is treating you, you got lost in the connection. But really, if you don't feel like, you know, that you're attracting the energy that you want, and this is the energy that came into your life, Spirit says, refine your character and overcome your difficulties by remaining positive. I calm my heart and illuminate my intellect to transform shadows into light. This person is actually helping you transform your shadows into light. I consciously manifest goodness in around me. I improve my qualities for the benefit of all. And I feel like that's really what this connection was to help you both refine your character. And it's not that it's bad. I believe that this person, again, comes from a lower consciousness where they're bad because they don't care about anyone. They cared about you emotionally. They didn't honor the connection, but nevertheless, they still had feelings where you are a good person. However, growing up in an environment that made you feel unworthy, Spirit saying you're allowing people to make you feel that way, to make you feel that you're not worthy, and because they're uncertain of themselves. So it's again that you are good. But if you don't feel that you're good, then raise your vibration and you refine your character by, for someone like, again, that is a good person, but is attracting low vibe, which is what I feel like here, because this person doesn't care. That's what makes them low vibe. Not their action. Again, we can be unconscious and have good intention. This person doesn't have good intention. So the way that you would is to, again, um, join things, find your gifts, play, like literally go out and play. That's why it says in the Bible, be like childlike, go out and play, connect with different people, see how other people respond to you, create support, create the support that you desire that's going to show you love. And that's through your tribe. And that's through, again, common interests, things that you like. That's how you find your goodness. That's what makes you strong. That's what, so that when someone comes into your life and acts like you're not worth it, like, or like, because they're not giving you time and they're acting like, and you feel one thing off of them, but they're doing something else, that you remove yourself. Someone has that this much mixed messages and they're so uncertain, they don't belong in your life. Know your goodness and put the rest in God's hands. Because again, growing up in an environment where we didn't get the love, a lot of times someone that's imbalanced comes into our life and then we're like, oh, well, they're wounded, let me help them. And what God says is like, no, put it in my hands. And because what you're doing is you're also putting your love life and who you want, like a good person to come into your life. You're putting all of it in my hands, that you're trusting in me, in the universe, by how you're treating yourself. When you treat yourself that, you become a mirror of that, regardless of what has transpired in your life. I'm going to bring you the right energy. And so it says, and if it's this person, believe me, I'm going to transform. Again, only I can transform the mind and the heart, but they'd have to clearly do the work. Helping them, because I brought you into their life to do that, but it's a process. It's not an overnight thing. So you better keep it in God's hands and don't try and fix it. Again, my trust in life is implicit. God's greater knowing and greatest love guides my heart and my choices. My faith is steady and I remain true to my light, to myself. Everything unfolds according to God's will, meaning that you're taken care of. Like, it's like, if it's not this person, it doesn't, regardless of the connection, there will be somebody else that actually is your twin, that is not a counterfeit, that is gonna come your way because you did the right thing by walking away from this. Because this is a person that's like, I'm so unsure that it's like, at the end of the day, that's your problem, that's not mine. Instead of you being there like, oh wow, like I'm like, what can I do to help you? No, that's how this person would love for you to be, trust me, so that they can have their cake and eat it too. Where it's, again, no, you need to detach and do that because they're not ready. And so the only way that they're going to figure out whether they're ready is for you to be gone, and they're feeling you're detaching from them, which is more and more and more anxiety. So eventually they're either going to crack, or they're going, meaning come back and apologize and do whatever. They're not doing that in the near future, or they're gonna suffer. They're just gonna continue to live the way that they're living, which is be like with a different person every other week, and just, going through people like business transactions because it makes them feel safe. Eventually, intuitively, like, and whether it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, this person, I believe, is eventually going to regret the fact that they weren't, that they didn't choose to like change. because they're never going to have another connection like this again. You're going to be the one that got away. Trust me. Trust me on that. I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. You let me know how you resonated with this. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.